Hi, everybody. I'm here having a very impromptu conversation. Everybody knows Phil. I hope people
Everybody
know
knows
me.
Bruce.
Everybody
Everybody
knows
knows
Phil
Bruce.
Chang.
So,
We're having a very impromptu conversation because we're just having a catch up here, a catch up call, and we just got into a conversation. So we decided to record it. And I'll tell you what it's all about. Here's what I threw at Phil. Okay, we're looking at a potential. Let's keep things positive. Okay, a potential downturn in the market. So normally, being the finance guy myself, I say, well, we got to cut costs. Okay, so I look at the low hanging fruit. So let's say a company is
you notice he's looking at me, right? So did you see that? He said, look at the low hanging fruit. And then he's looking at
low
me.
hanging fruit. So let's say a company's doing, I don't know, 3 to 5 million, maybe 6 million, 7 million, hey, whatever. And let's assume this: they're spending, they have a budget of, let's say, $500,000 on a marketing spend. Okay, so I'm coming in,
So
things are
$5
getting
million.
tight.
So I've got about a 10%
500,000,
marketing spend.
five hundred
Okay.
thousand dollars. That's the
Yeah.
cost of marketing in
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
In 2023, they spent
Yeah.
$500,000 on marketing. So I come in, interest rates are going to go up. We're concerned. Again, I got to keep this positive. It's not nothing's all doom and gloom, but looking for ways potentially to cut costs. I go right to the low hanging fruit. I say marketing out, gone. Okay, personally, I don't think that's the smartest strategy. But as a finance guy, I'm saying to the marketing guy, okay, tell me how to measure. What are the milestones? What are the measurements that are being put in place to measure the effectiveness of the marketing? Because if I don't get the answer, I don't want to spend the money. And it's not just say, well, sales will go up. That to me is lip service. Okay, that's lip service. Well, we'll look at sales. That's after the fact. I don't want to blow my brains out. I want to know proactively ahead of time what I need. So this is what I'm throwing at you. I'm
Yeah.
challenging you. Okay,
No. I think it's
I'm challenging
like,
you.
so as you're getting into this, I do think that this is a conversation that happens. Well, it happens every year when you're annually
Of course,
planning.
and
And
we get
then
it. Yeah.
two is in a downturn, it's realistic, right? Every marketer knows that if you can give back some cash, you're going to have to give back some cash, right? Every year. So by half year, if you know things aren't going well, you're probably going to have to give back some cash, right? And then if we're coming into a downturn, we expect programs to get cut. We don't like it. We're going to put up a fight, right? We're as good as we get, so we'll put up a fight, but we know this is going to happen. So the things I think that, this conversation between a CMO and a CFO is going to happen, right? And so
It
what I
will.
would say to you is,
Or a de facto CFO, or a
yeah,
person can have the conversation with themselves,
correct,
the
correct.
CEO, because they become if there's no
Yeah,
CFO, the CEO becomes the de facto CFO.
yeah,
In a
yeah.
circumstance. Yeah.
So I think there are a few things, right? As one is marketing can always be clearer about what we're trying to do. And so when you kind of start breaking up tactics, there are things that you are going to think about, things that you want to protect, and things that you can give up. So, I think everyone who knows me knows I'm pretty passionate about search engine, organic traffic, being able to drive search results, right? That's a thing for me. And so, in those cases, one, I can show the return on investment. I can show we've invested this many hours in making sure our keywords and our copy is right, that everything looks right, and that, and from those, your scorecard, which should have things like Google traffic, SEO rankings on it, and then keywords that you won or lost, allows you to be able to take things and go, look, organic traffic is working for us. So in a time when things aren't going well, I have invested some time in making sure that we come up on search terms. People are still going to be searching for things. They're going to find me organically, and I'm competing with the people, the brands around me. So that's something that you can look at and go, these metrics point to that. This is why we need to keep doing what we do, right? So there's always going to be things like when you do things like websites and copy and things like that, you're going to want to point to those things: Ahrefs, SEMrush, SEO rankings, those sort of things. Your own Google Analytics will tell you that. Those are always good things to have. If you are into marketing campaigns, you need to be able to show some results for things like email signups. So how many people are signing up to you so that you have somebody to convert into something? If you have emails, are you converting them into sales, right? So
Are you
your
still?
email campaigns, so they generate volume.
Are you able
Yeah.
to set those targets ahead of time? Like, do you
Yes.
actually, like, I look at budgeting, right? You
Yes.
set a budget. Are you
Yeah.
able to budget versus actual, like in your dashboard, to preset. Is that your recommendation? To preset all these metrics, okay,
Yeah.
on a dashboard, and each week or each month to see how you're doing, because you could marketing, you can blow your brains out.
So here's the funny thing is
Okay.
if you are doing planning, so if you're 5 million and above, you should be doing annual planning. And so in your annual planning process, there should already be targets, right? Because you're going to have to hit a number, right? And so when you start taking apart the number, everyone goes, oh, well, where's the number come from? You go, look, you know what? If I have customers, if I have B2B customers like grocers or retailers, there's a particular number that, from a client facing perspective, these guys, your sales guys will be able to hit those numbers.
Yeah.
But marketing has a portion of supporting that number as well.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some targets associated with, hey, you know what? Like I've got to be able to do some things. I've got to be able to support them with a website or with coupons or with, direct to market sort of things or sampling campaigns. The other part of that, email campaigns, will be part of your targets, right? So at that point, you're also setting targets to go, listen, if I have 1,000 subscribers, by the end of the year, if I start the year with 1,000, what do I want to be at the end of the year? I probably want to be at 1,500, 2,000. And then out of that number, there are statistics that you can go, if I email these guys, I should be able to, out of 2,000 people, I should be able to get about, 25% of them to click and buy something if I sell stuff off my e-com site, or I should be able to show that 25% of them click and redirect to grocers or that sort of thing, right? So now all of a sudden you've got targets that, one, at the end of the year, you can say, hey, listen, I'm good for the money, right? Because I showed you that these were my year beginning targets and I'm going to hit these targets by the end of the year, right? And then the following piece of that a CFO would ask you, I think, would be, well, what did it mean for us? Which is a slightly different conversation, right? Because you can go, great, I got a quarter of my email list to respond to me and click on things, but ultimately doesn't generate revenue. Then you might go, you know what, next year, maybe that's the money I get back. Because even though I have all these people who really love me, I can't prove that this is the piece that makes volume move forward.
But how do we take
right?
how do we take them? Is there a way to take the maybe out of it? Or there's always some emotional, I hate the word emotional, there's always some element of intuition involved. Like, is there a way to take the maybe out of it, Because I want my theory is to get to as many fact-based decisions as possible.
Yes.
To move away. Intuition is very good, but like I've seen it. I've seen it in my company.
So,
when I had a like let's put all this money and it's all feelings. You know what I mean? It was
no.
it was brutal.
There are some feelings in here, but not a lot. Like click-through rates is not a feeling, right? Like, if I have an impression rate, or I have 11,000 people who see my ads or look at my emails, click-through rate tells me something, right? It tells me 3%, 2% opened, clicked on the ad or in the email, and then out of that, it tells me what they did, right? So there's always an action. Can I always connect them to a sale? Maybe not, right? But I should be able to glean some insight from the numbers and the actions to be able to say,
the numbers.
I made my audience do X, right? And then it's up to the CMO, the CFO, the CEO, like folks to go, you know what? In a year where it's lean, what you did is really, it's good because it helped us learn some things and it got us some brand engagement, but it doesn't ultimately turn into sales. So we're going to put that on ice this year, or we're going to put that on ice until we free up some cash, for example. I got it. So, but that's kind of the conversations that need to happen, right?
We're going to close off in a minute, because this is becoming a full-blown It's just supposed to be impromptu, 3-minute thing, 4-minute thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
So here, let's cut it down. So I'm looking at a number of $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay, on a company, on a food company that I'm the CEO. I'm pretending though. I'm looking at the potential number, the marketing lead. By the way, I might even be the marketing lead if I'm the CEO. It's possible. The marketing lead saying that there's a $500,000 number. Can I take that $500,000 and could I attach dashboard and metrics to the entire amount and start monitoring along the way and make fact-based decisions? Is that what can we do that? all of it, no matter what campaign, no matter what, including the people, including what's required, everything, not after the fact. And I'm assuming you're saying it is.
No, it shouldn't. So one, to be clear, it should never be after the fact. So anytime that you do budgeting, you need to account for everything. Even like in that 500,000, like the things that would take us like another 2 hours, Bruce, like on this call, right? As you know, like things like out of the 500,000, how many are just salaries? How many are bodies? How many are services? So let's just put all that aside for a second. The 500,000 needs to be accounted for, all of it, right? And so let's say half is salaries and half is really marketing, true campaign marketing, blah, 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 blah. The half, you have to be able to cover it all. Look, here's how much was spent on assets, right? Like creating, right? Because this is a creation category. So we need to manufacture assets. We need to go out and then we need to promote it. We need to spend money on it. We need to advertise it. All of that stuff can be accounted for. There are clicks, there are likes, there are impressions, there are all these things that say either, it almost boils into a bunch of things. One is, I'm driving brand recognition. I'm driving brand knowledge and conversion. And then I'm reinforcing conversion and loyalty. It's almost like three buckets, right? So that whatever that budget is, you need to be able to account for it. And then obviously you would then look at the other half and go, do I have enough bodies to do the work that I've allocated for? Or do I have too many bodies for what I've allocated for, right? So all of those things are things that need to come into the conversation.
Because I want to close. We talked earlier offline about potential of interest rates going up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So really, how much focus, and top line is very important. It's not, but you shouldn't be growing top line, in my opinion, going forward into the new year. You should not be growing your top line, sacrificing your profitability and running out of money. And a lot of sometimes you got to be really, really careful because it all looks good. Hey, top line, top line, top line. But all of a sudden, all of a sudden,
I think, sorry, I didn't mean to. I just think if you're running any company, you just need to remember that we say, when you say things that are important, you always say, look, the bottom line is. So that's kind of the way I think of this is, it doesn't matter, like, because we have lots of terms in the industry. You've got top line, you've got below the line, you've got, inline spend, blah, 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 blah. But the colloquialism that's out there is when you are serious about something, you say, guys, we can argue about this all day, but the bottom line is, right? And so the bottom line is what every business should be thinking about is that you got it.
But not everybody thinks that way. They think they do, but what happens is, they're, especially in the company growing phase, they become growers, build top line, build top line, build top line, top line. And I've seen it. And I've seen it actually really hurt companies. You know what I mean? And I've seen companies that really hurt companies. And so I think you got to get to the point where the CEO, is usually responsible for top line, but they've got to become more of an operator, and focus on the entire thing.
Yeah, I like this is so Kenny and I have said this many times is we believe that a CFO is it's a critical component to everything you do. When I was a sales track guy, I couldn't, the finance people, I wouldn't leave them alone because, like I can give money away for promotions all day, but if I know that it's not going to make me any money, what's the point of it? Right. And so sometimes there is, don't get me wrong, there are lots of reasons why you drive a ton of top line, but there's a reason that colloquially we use the term, listen, guys, the bottom line is, right? Because the bottom line is the most important place to be. So if you don't know what your bottom line is, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're sales, if you're marketing, if you're Catman, if you're accounts payable, accounts receivable, if you're customer service, you're the CEO, CFO, CMO, you need to know what the bottom line is. You need to know what the bottom line.
You got it. Phil, this has been awesome. We can talk about this for hours. I think we went a little overboard on time. It's all good. Okay, buddy. We're going to end it. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Don't go away. Don't go away. Bye-bye. Oops.